let me tell you the story of a name. A name that began as a whisper between a husband and a wife and grew into a legend whispered across 90 countries. The year was 1915. In the city of Geneva, Switzerland, a small factory opened its doors. It was called, simply, the Fabrique Genevoise de Crayons, the Geneva Pencil Factory. For nearly a decade, it struggled in obscurity, making ordinary pencils for ordinary hands. Then, in 1924, a man named Arnold Schweitzer walked in and bought the factory. Arnold was a Swiss entrepreneur with a dream, but he was not alone. Beside him stood his wife, a woman whose name history has cruelly forgotten, but whose influence would echo through the ages. She had grown up in the vast, snowy landscapes of Russia, and her ears still remembered the music of the Russian tongue. One evening, as they discussed the fate of the struggling factory, she looked at her husband and spoke a single word. "Caran dash," she said. Arnold paused. "Caran dash." The word felt warm and round in his mouth. "It means pencil in Russian," she explained, "but it is also the name of a famous artist." And she told him about Emmanuel Poyer, a brilliant French caricaturist who had taken Caran d'Ache as his pen name. This artist, born in Russia but famous in the glittering salons of Paris, had filled the world with his witty, sharp, and beautiful drawings that in that moment, the factory was reborn. Arnold Schweitzer renamed his company Caran d'Ache. With that single elegant name, he honored his wife's Russian childhood, paid tribute to the noble art of drawing, and declared to the world that his pencils would never be ordinary. They would be the pencils of artists, of dreamers, of creators. Now, dear reader, you might ask me, what of Arnold Schweitzer's own flesh and blood? What of his children? Did they inherit this glorious legacy? Here, the story grows quiet and mysterious. The records of history have left us in shadow. The names of Arnold Schweitzer's children, and even how many there were, are not written in any book I have found. They have faded into the soft darkness of forgotten time. That we know that Arnold worked tirelessly, building his company with the precision of a watchmaker and the passion of an artist. But when he died in 1947, he did not pass the company to a son or a daughter. Instead, the story took an unexpected turn. The company passed not to the Schweitzer bloodline, but to the Hubescher family, loyal friends and trusted partners. A man named Henri Hubescher stepped forward to take the helm. Then his son, Jacques Hubescher, a young man who had been trading peanuts in the heat of Senegal, received the call. He returned to Switzerland at the age of 24, left the African son behind, and dedicated the next 60 years of his life to Caran d'Ache. And the story continues still. Today, the company is led by Carol Hubescher, Jacques' daughter. She is the fourth generation of the Hubescher family to guide this Swiss ark through the waters of time. So, while Arnold Schweitzer planted the seed, it was the Hubescher family who watered it, sheltered it, and watched it grow into a mighty tree. The children of Arnold may have vanished from the pages of history, but the children of the Hubeschers live on, tending the flame. But let us return to the pencils themselves, for Arnold Schweitzer did more than just give his company a beautiful name. He poured the very soul of Swiss watchmaking into every product. Look at what his company achieved. In 1929, the fixed pencil was born. It was the world's first all-metal mechanical pencil. A tiny, perfect machine that fit in your pocket. Craftsmen stared at it in wonder. Writers clutched it like a talisman. In 1931, the Prismalo appeared, the world's first water-soluble colored pencil. You could draw with it like an ordinary pencil, then brush your drawing with a wet brush, and like magic, your sketch would bloom into a shimmering watercolor painting. Artists wept with joy. In 1952, the Neocolor arrived. Wax pastel crayons of such richness and brilliance that they seemed to hum with light. In 1953, the Ecuador was unveiled. The first metal ballpoint pen, born from their mastery of fine metals. In 1999, they created the most expensive pen in the world, encrusted with diamonds, and entered the Guinness World Records. Every single product, to this very day, is still made by hand in their factory in Thonex, Geneva, the same city where the story began. Now, you might wonder, what does a company of artists and pencil makers have to do with the sweaty, roaring world of sports? The answer is, more than you might think. In 2006, Caran d'Ache signed a bold agreement with UEFA, the governing body of European football. They became an official partner of Euro 2008, the great football championship hosted by Switzerland and Austria. For the first time, the elegant name of Caran appeared alongside the thunder of cheering crowds and the flight of a football across green grass. The company's CEO at the time said proudly, "This sponsorship will make our brand known to all football fans across Europe. It will also highlight our status as a distinguished ambassador for Swiss companies." But that was not their only dance with the world of sport. More recently, Caran became the main sponsor of a young Swiss tennis champion named Belinda Bencic. She was fast, fierce, and graceful, a perfect reflection of the company's soul. This partnership was not merely a check and a logo. Oh no, it was far deeper than that. Caran created a limited edition pen called the Ecuador Bencic Edition, a beautiful instrument inspired by Belinda's career and her fighting spirit. They launched digital campaigns, filmed videos, held contests on social media, and even organized workshops for their own employees based on Belinda's performance and creativity. The result was astonishing. The company's brand awareness increased by 320%. So, yes, Caran has danced with sports, selectively, elegantly, but memorably. But if you truly wish to understand the soul of Caran you must look beyond their pencils and their pens. You must look beyond their sports partnerships. You must look at what they do when no one is watching. For this company has woven social and environmental responsibility into the very fabric of its existence. It is not an afterthought. It is not a marketing trick. It is their heartbeat. Factory in Geneva, and you will see 800 square meters of solar panels drinking the Swiss sun. You will see a heating system that burns 80 tons of wood chips, the very sawdust left over from making pencils. Nothing is wasted. They recycle 20% of the water they use. They have reduced their water consumption by 30% over 4 years. They developed a water-based varnish free from harmful solvents and now use it on nearly 100% of their pencils. The forests that give them their wood are certified by the Forest Stewardship Council, FSC, meaning every tree is replanted, every forest is respected. And here is a beautiful detail. Every single haute écriture instrument, every luxury pen, is assembled by hand and designed to be repaired. They are meant to last a lifetime. They are meant to be inherited, not thrown away. But the environment is only one part of the story. Caran has also stretched out its hand to the suffering corners of the world. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, the company launched a campaign called Colorful Days. For every sale of certain products, Caran donates 20% of the proceeds to support the education of refugee girls. The program is called Primary Impact, and it sends young girls who have fled war, fire, and loss to school. As of January 2025, this single initiative has helped 8,000 refugee girls receive an education, 8,000 futures saved, 8,000 candles lit against the darkness. Caran created a limited edition writing instrument, and every penny of its price went to support family reunification efforts in Syria. Imagine that. A pen that helps a mother find her child. A pencil that brings a father home. The Paint a Smile Foundation. This beautiful foundation paints murals on the walls of hospitals and nursing homes. They cover cold, sterile corridors with gardens, animals, and smiling faces, all for their therapeutic effect. Caran donates all the colors and materials the artists need. They provide the tools that turn gray walls into windows of joy. Cartooning for Peace. This global foundation uses the art of cartooning, that same art that inspired the name Caran to promote freedom of expression, respect for cultures, and human rights. Caran stands proudly beside them, pencil in hand. But perhaps the most moving story of all lives inside their own factory. Every single day, Caran welcomes 12 employees with special needs or in professional reintegration programs into a special workshop. These are people who have been pushed to the edges of society, people with disabilities, people who have made mistakes, people who have been told they are not useful. Inside the Caran factory, they are given a second chance. They work alongside skilled craftsmen. They learn, they create, they become part of the family. The company was also a founding member, back in 1970, of the Intercompany Social Service, SSIE. an organization that supports employees in their professional and personal development, offering help with housing, finances, family struggles, and more. Every year, Caran offers free training to hundreds of visual arts teachers across Switzerland. These are the men and women who shape the artists of tomorrow. The company gives them knowledge, materials, and inspiration for free. They partner with the Head School of Art and Design in Geneva, awarding an annual prize to a graduating student. They partner with ESBDI, the School of Comics and Illustration, awarding another annual prize. And in Lausanne, inside the magnificent Plateform 10 Museum, they launched the eSpace Creative Caran, a living laboratory, a creative space where anyone can come to draw, paint, and express themselves. It is a temple of imagination, open to all. And so, dear reader, we return to where we began. The expensive Swiss brand that makes pencils. The name that came from a Russian word and a French artist. The factory founded by Arnold Schweitzer, whose children have faded into mystery, and whose legacy was carried forward by the Hubischer family generation after generation, from Henri de Jacques to Carol. A company that has danced with football and tennis. A company that has sent 8,000 refugee girls to school. A company that heats its factory with sawdust and paints its pencils with water. A company that gives second chances to the forgotten and free training to the teachers of tomorrow. This is Caran. It is not merely a pencil company. It is a philosophy. It is a belief that beauty matters, that precision is a form of love, and that every stroke of a pencil on paper or on the world can be a stroke of kindness. The story began with a wife whispering a Russian word to her husband, and it has not ended. It continues every time a child opens a box of colors, every time an artist picks up a fixed pencil, every time a refugee girl opens a school book, every time a hospital wall blooms into a mural. The pencil, the name, the legacy, Caran. Now you know the whole tale.